A wonderful Tuesday afternoon, getting some sunshine, enjoying some coffee, some tea, some refreshments in this heat that many of you are experiencing right now. Got the air condition going, got some ice in your drink, maybe some iced coffee. I don't mind iced coffee. So, my babe in the Matrix, I have started up a quick start save where I have all the settings in there that I use every single week. So nothing changes, whether Babe is in Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, always going to use the same settings. Most of them are OOTP default settings, other than a couple changes that I've made to make it a little bit more realistic. One, I do not want Babe Ruth traded during the season, and you never know with OOTP. Yesterday, the Cardinals traded Walker to the Blue Jays for Varsho, which, again, is not going to happen this year. So to avoid Babe getting traded, I have turned trades off and I've reduced injuries to very low. Because Babe had some injury issues once in a while, and we don't want him sitting out for a majority of the season. So in my quick start, I play in commish mode. Everything else I leave the same. I do not take over a team. And we are playing as the Baltimore Orioles today. And to import a player, very easy to do. You go to reports and info. You go down to free agents. I've already imported Babe Ruth because it's part of my quick save file. But if you want to import someone, you go to Import Historical Players on the right-hand side under Actions. You click the historical database, confirm, and you need to know what the historical player ID is. Now, I don't know if there's a shortcut way to do this, but it seems that if you put in the last name, like Cobb, and then Ty, and 01, there must be a shortcut way. Otherwise, you might have to go into a historical game and find out what the player ID is. Babe Ruth is the default, so that was easy for me to find. And then I put in the year, 1927. So if you want to put in Fernando Valenzuela, you find Fernando's ID, you put it in, and you put the year from his career that you want him to come in as. So 1985 or 1987, whatever Fernando that you want. Everything else I leave the same. I don't touch any of these other default settings. And then you import the player. When you do, it will bring them in as a free agent. So here's Babe. I've added a picture to him. And the only other thing I have to do now is I don't want him as a free agent. I want him on a specific team. So I go to Editor. I scroll down on the left-hand side. Team information. I select the league, MLB, and I select the team. Today he's playing for Baltimore. There you go. The Bambino is back home in Baltimore. So I go to the Baltimore lineups, and last week the Braves had Babe Ruth hitting third against the righties and against the lefties. The Baltimore AI manager has decided to put Babe cleanup against the righties and batting third against the lefties. So once again, this is the 1927 Babe Ruth. 29 doubles, 60 home runs, 164 RBIs, a 12.0 WAR. That's the Babe we're running with, the 32-year-old Babe. Simple as that. That's how you can bring in a historical player or more to the free agent list, and then you can assign them to specific teams, or you can just let a team sign them randomly as a free agent. So look at this Baltimore lineup. We've got batting against the left-handed pitchers, Gunnar Henderson, Ryan Mountcastle, Babe, Adley, Urias. We've got Anthony Santander, Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins, and Adam Frazier. Baltimore, I think you just got better. Against the righties, they have Mullins leading off, Henderson, Adley, Ruth, Santander, Mountcastle, Frazier, Urias, and Hayes. Pitching, we got Cole Irvin, Tyler Wells, Grayson Rodriguez, Dean Kremer, and Kyle Gibson as the starting five. And the AI has put in a pitch count, it looks like, on Grayson. And there you see the bullpen with the closer, Felix Bautista. Now, this is the April 1st Baltimore lineup. It is not the May 16th lineup. It is the April 1st one. So if players have got injured or traded or demoted since April 1st, that won't reflect here. And Mr. Ree, hey, Mr. Ree, good to see you. So you're the Baltimore expert. You're saying that's a fairly accurate O's lineup. Okay, good to know. Good to know that their lineup hasn't changed too much. Well, let's get on to his first game as a Baltimore Oriole. Always like to play the first game out just to see how Babe does in his debut. And Babe is, oddly enough, he is going to play his first game against the Boston Red Sox in Boston. So Babe Ruth is going to one of the most historical ballparks with the giant monster left field wall. And he's going up against Chris Sale in his very first game as a Baltimore Oriole. All right, let's start this game. How is Babe going to do in his debut against his old pre-Matrix team? Once again, if for any reason the game crashes during the season, as it sometimes does, we start it all over. We will quick sim to where we left off, and any data from the crashed game is done. It does not count. So we're hoping for a crashless game. All right, Babe is hitting third. So let's check out his first at bat with the Baltimore Orioles. Welcome to the Boston ballpark. And Gunner flies one out to left field. There's our first out. Ryan Mountcastle is up next. Sale with the pitch, and he drives one to third base, easily handled. That is the second out of the inning. All right. Babe Ruth, 80 contact, 75 power, 80 power against lefties. Sale, Ruth in the Matrix. Here's the pitch. Ruth slams one to right field. That is not deep enough. And his first at bat as a Baltimore Oriole is not very successful. All right, let's go until second inning. Let's try and get another Babe Ruth at bat. We're at the top of the third. Well, he might bat here. So let's play this third inning out here. Mullins at the plate. He goes down swinging. Adam Frazier, number 9 hitter, pops one up into left field, 2 away. That brings us back to the top of the lineup, and Gunnar Henderson. And he watches strike 3. Okay, so Babe did not get up into the third inning. We go to the fourth inning. Babe is on deck. As Ryan Mountcastle will try to get on base. Here's the pitch. Mountcastle, easy grounder to shortstop, and all Orioles can't get anything going in Boston. Babe Ruth, plate appearance number 2, a fly out to right field in his first at bat. Here's the pitch. Babe swings deep to left field. But again, a flyout. Ruth as an Oriole is 0 for 2. Let's go to the 6th inning and see if Babe gets up in this inning. We need some runners on base, though. Here's the first batter. That is a flyout to center field. Only one hit. Chris Sale is having quite the game. One hit in the 6th inning. Adam Frazier at the plate. He watches strike 3 on the corner. And Gunnar Henderson back at the plate. He strikes out. Home field is working out well for the Boston Red Sox. They are up 2-0 as we go to the top of the 7th. Ryan Mountcastle at the plate. Whoa, that one is deep. That one is gone over the monster. Ryan Mountcastle with a home run, and the Baltimore Orioles with their 3rd hit of the game cut the lead in half. 2nd hit of the game. All right, can Babe Ruth ride the momentum? He is 0 for 2 so far. Chris Sale still in the game. That one should fall in, and there we have it. Babe Ruth with his first hit as a Baltimore Oriole. It is now 1 on, no one out for Adley. He takes a walk. Baltimore has something going here in the 7th inning. Chris Sale still in the game. Urias at the plate. He goes down on a called strike. And at the plate, a squibber. Catcher takes it. Safe, an infield hit. We have the bases loaded. Babe is on 3rd base, looking for his first run of the season. Austin Hayes at the plate. 1 away. Sale still in the game. That one is going to fall. And Babe Ruth, his first hit as an Oriole, and now his first run as a Baltimore Oriole. All right, we are going to skip ahead to the 8th inning. Babe Ruth at the plate for his 4th plate appearance. He is 1 for 3 with a run scored. Richard Blyer at the on the mound. Ruth smacks one into center field. That will fall for a hit, and Babe Ruth is now hitting 500 on the day. Orioles with a 5-3 lead. We head to the 9th inning. Don't think Babe will get another chance at it, so we're going to finish off the game. And unlike last week in Atlanta, Babe Ruth will end up going 2 for 5, leaves 2 on base, 1 run. What else do we got? 1 home run for Mountcastle that we saw. Mr. Irvin, Cole Irvin, takes the win for Baltimore, going 6 1/3 inning. And Chris Sale, after a masterful first 5 innings, takes the loss, giving up 5 earned runs. Sale fell apart. So there you go, Babe Ruth with his first win. We're going to sim ahead to the end of April. And as we're doing that, we're going to go back to my main screen. And how well do you know Babe? How well do you know this guy? How well do you know the history? So as we sim the month of April, before we talk about Babe specifically, let's look at a few things from this day in history while the game engine is simming ahead. On this day, back in 1897, Cleveland, first Sunday baseball game. Now, if you don't know the history of Sunday baseball games, they were illegal in many places, and Cleveland decided to play a baseball game on a Sunday back in 1897. The police were called in. They arrested the players after the first inning. And the players and the umpire eventually released on bail. The Cleveland club owner, as he should have, paid for the bail for these players. And a test case, though, was made of rookie hurler John Powell. And on June 10th, he would be found guilty of playing ball on Sunday, and he was fined $5. I'm guessing it had to do with the Lord's Day. I know in Canada we had something called the Lord's Day Act, where businesses, unless they were essential, were not allowed to open on Sundays until about the 1980s. We had the Lord's Day Act. So I'm assuming this was a religious case. So a $5 fine back in 1897 for one of the players for playing baseball on a Sunday. Oh, Ezra points out there are still blue laws in effect in America. Interesting. On this day, 110 years ago, one of the premium pitchers that we will get in OOTP is Christy Mathewson. Great pitcher, great during the dead ball era. And on this day, 110 years ago, Pirates outfielder Ed Menser, who will only draw 8 walks all year, in the third inning, Christy Mathewson will walk Ed Menser, ending 47 perfect control innings. Now, think about that. 47 innings straight without walking anyone. Talk about control. So when we see a Christy Mathewson card, we better see some really high-end control on that guy, because that's like 9 straight games. Yeah, that's like 9 games or more. 9 games. No, not 9 games. That would be 9 innings, 5 games. So Matheson would take a 7-1 lead into the 8th, still gets the win on that day, but his 47 walkless innings is broken from Ed Menser. On this day in 1939, Cleveland and Philadelphia would play the first night game in American League history. First night game, about 80 years ago, played in American League history. So I guess the electric bills started to come in as of May 16th, 1939. Cool. I did not know that. All right, let's get back to the sim, see how Babe is doing. We are now on May the 1st, and we'll check the standings first. Baltimore is 15-13, so they're hanging around, 2.5 games back from the division lead. And Babe Ruth is on fire. He's got the little fire symbol. Babe Ruth is hitting 287. All right, well, that's the best he's started off a season with. Last week, he was hitting about 240, I think, with Atlanta after April. So he's got 25 hits in 26 games. He's pretty good. 18 runs, 13 home runs. He smacked 13 home runs in April and 28 RBIs. This is the Babe we expect. So let's go to our combined leaderboard and see how many Babe pitchers we see. Leading the league in slugging, 747. Leading in on-base plus slugging. He's tied for the lead with Joey Gallo with home runs. 5th in RBIs. 4th in batter war. Leading in OPS plus and in win probability added. Also leading in isolated power, 460, just crushing it. So the team is not in first place, but Babe definitely is having a good start to his career. He's back home, baby. He is back home in Baltimore. Let's take a look at his batting stats, game log. So he had one 3-hit game against Texas. He's had a few 2-home run games, 2 home runs against Washington, a couple home runs in a game against Boston where they shut out the Red Sox 5-0. Has not played my Blue Jays yet. All right. Dylan, rip my 37 home runs. Well, sometimes we get caught up on that. We go, okay, in Arizona, he hit 38 home runs. In Atlanta, he hit 37. So he's probably going to hit about 37 again. Maybe he still might, but he's not on that pace. All right, we are going to sim ahead to the beginning of June. And we'll go back and talk a little bit about some baseball history. Again, welcome all in, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the Babe talk here, the historical baseball talk on this day in 1951. So what's that, about 72 years ago? I'm doing my math right? 72 years ago, 50, yeah, 72 years ago. Mickey Mantle. So Ezra, I'm sure Mickey Mantle is in your game file in 1958. I'm sure he's doing well. I know ESC_V is playing with Mickey Mantle in one of his series. He will hit his first Yankee Stadium home run on this day in 1951. Well, since we're focused on Baltimore this week, here's some Baltimore news. On this day in 1965, 58 years ago today, Jim Palmer would pick up his first major league win. Oriole great Jim Palmer, first win, 7-5 over the Yankees. So there you go. Thank you for the follows. We've got Simma 85. We have Vesty Gaming. Thank you for the follow. And to Meandin, thank you for following. And I hope you're enjoying some of this historical baseball. Oddly enough, talk about a matrix. In 1965, on May 16th, Jim Palmer gets his first win. And on May 16th, 1984, the Orioles release Jim Palmer. So May 16th was quite the memorable date for Jim Palmer. He picks up his first win in 1965, and 19 years later, the Orioles would release him. Poor Jim Palmer. All right, let's get back to Babe in the Matrix. We are now at June 1st. The Baltimore Orioles, sorry, Mr. Reed, they are in last place in the East, in the AL East. The Yankees are leading it. And let's take a quick peek how Babe is doing. He's still on a hot streak. So Babe Ruth on June 1st is hitting .313 with a .463 on-base percentage, a 3.8 WAR. He's got 23 home runs. So he hit 10 home runs in the month of May, 46 RBIs, 56 hits. So he's more than a hit a game, slightly above 1 hit per game, and 42 runs. How's he doing in the field? He's a positive zone rating, so he's doing okay in the field. Let's look for some accomplishments here. He went 3 for 3 against Cleveland recently. Couple 2-hit games, home run wise. He had 2 home runs against Cleveland. And has he played Toronto yet? Yes. 2 wins against Toronto. 2 hits in 11 at-bats against the Blue Jays. So he can't quite handle the Blue Jays, it seems. That was up in Toronto. So Babe has been to Canada for his first visit. All All right, let's look at the league leaderboard. Look at all those babes show up now. We did not see this last week. Leading on base percentage, leading slugging, leading on base and slugging, and leading batter WAR. Is Babe Ruth in contention for a most valuable player award? Could be. Could be. Also leading in these other hitting categories, weighted OBA, OPS plus, isolated power. So yes, good on you, babe. You're having a great season in Baltimore. Let's see if the team can turn it around. We are going to play up to the All-Star Game in July. Projected home runs, I didn't see that, Brent. We'll check it at the All-Star break here. Let's go back and learn a little bit more about this day in history. All right, well, as a Canadian, I've got to add some Canadian flavor here. So back on this day, 26 years ago, some of you might remember this. Ezra, maybe you'll remember this as a Giants fan. On this day in 1997, the Giants had a 9-run lead. Montreal spotted the Giants a 9-run lead, and then they would come with their biggest rally in franchise history. Those Montreal Expos would rally back and win the game 14-13. Barry Bonds and Glenn Allen Hill homer as the Giants would take an 11-2 lead after 3 innings, but Montreal, those Canadian Expos, would score 4 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and take a 12-11 lead. So Montreal, their biggest rally in franchise history over the San Francisco Giants. And our last this day in history, this one goes out to all the Rickey Henderson fans. On this day 22 years ago, 22 years ago it's been since Rickey Henderson has been playing. He would lead off with a home run, and he would extend his major league record for leadoff home runs to 79. Wow. I don't know if someone can Google what he ended up with. How many leadoff home runs? If someone can check that for me, how many leadoff home runs would Rickey Henderson have in his career? Kind of an unusual stat. So that is more than combining the number 2 and 3 players. Brady Anderson had 44. Bobby Bonds had 35, at least up until that point, 2001. So Rickey Henderson, he's not just a guy that can steal bases. He's a guy that can hit some dingers. And EVC, no wonder EVC is having a Rickey Henderson theme team, because that definitely is a good player to build around. 79 leadoff home runs. Thank you. Thank you, Flick of the Wrist. Flick of the Wrist says that Rickey had 81. I don't know if you're on a page that shows the second and third place, but if you are on that page, is it still Brady Anderson and Bobby Bonds, or have others passed Brady and Bobby? I feel like I'm on the Brady bunch here. Brady and Bobby. So yes, Rickey Henderson, EVC, I look forward to your theme team, because he's a guy you want leading off. Plus, you get those bonus perfect points for a first inning leadoff home run. And there's EVC with these Rickey Henderson theme team emotes. All right, let's get back. Let's see how Babe's doing at the All-Star break. Again, we had 40 entries in today's contest. It is now July the 11th. And we'll take a quick peek at the All-Star game, because I'm pretty sure Babe will have made it. But did he make it as a starter or as a reserve player? So for your American League, Jose Ramirez, Tim Anderson, Alvarez, Aaron Judge, Kyle Tucker, Jose Abreu, Adley, Jimenez, and Jimenez, one with a J, one with a G. Those are your AL stars. Babe Ruth did not make it. Alvarez, Judge, and Kyle Tucker are your outfielders. Did he make it as a reserve? Yes, he did. So he made the All-Star game just like last week, but as a reserve player, well, let's just go and finish this game off. We're not going to go inning by inning. We will go up until maybe the 7th inning, see if Babe's in the game yet. Let's see. AL, no, Babe is not in the game. Let's go to the 8th. Not in the game. To the 9th. And he may have had a plate appearance earlier in the game, but it is not showing it here. So let's finish off this inning. So it looks like the AL will win the All-Star game. So Babe Ruth is on the winning team, but only 6 hits, 10 hits total. And did Babe Ruth get a plate appearance? No. How dare you, AI manager, not to get Babe Ruth in the game? My biggest disappointment of this season so far is the Babe does not get in the All-Star game. Well, well, well. Let's take a look at the league standings here. In the AL East, the Yankees are up on the Rays, and the Baltimore Orioles are coming back. They're above 500. And do they have a wild card position? 4 games out of the wild card. In the NL, we've got the Braves, as always, the Cardinals, as always, and the Dodgers. Nothing new to see here, folks. For the NL wildcard, the Mets, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Marlins, Brewers, the Cubs, all in contention for the wildcard. At the All-Star break, Babe Ruth is currently hitting .334. I believe the highest total we've seen him on any team so far. He is loving Baltimore, .334. He has 33 home runs, projected to hit 60, guys. He is projected to tie his 1927 home run pace. 75 RBIs, 101 hits, and 66 runs. So at about the midway point, he's got 167, 200. His total so far is 275. So he's kind of projected to go to about the 550 mark for the season. So if you guessed around 550, you're looking good. All right, let's check the comments. Thank you, Dylan, for the update. So Ricky Henderson has the most leadoff home runs at 81, Soriano at 54, and then George Springer. That is a great trivia question. George Springer is tied with one of the killer bees, Craig Biggio, at 53. Ricky, I don't think that record is going to be beat. You have 27 more home runs than George Springer. George Springer, you have to play at least probably another 20 years to catch him. Kinsler, Jimmy Rollins. So thanks for doing that flick of the wrist, and Dylan for that update. I knew Ricky was good as a leadoff guy, but I didn't know he was that home run good as a leadoff guy. Yeah, I forgot to check what city the All-Star game was. Babe was at the bar. He's like, I'm not starting. Forget this. I'm the Bambino. I'm going to head out for a drink, pick me up, get the bus to stop by on the way home, and we'll see you guys later. That's what you get for not starting the Babe. EVC, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Again, check out EVC's Gets the Set tomorrow. It will, sounds like, be the Build a Lineup Diamond players. So yeah, go enter that contest. EVC giving away some packs tomorrow on his stream, or at least the chance to win packs on his stream tomorrow. That's an absurd amount. That's what around 30% of Ricky's jacks are of the leadoff type. Okay, so Ricky hit about 240 home runs. Is that right? If he hit about a third of them in the leadoff role? 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Be there. EVC in NYC. Okay, we are going to sim ahead to the end of the month. Only a couple weeks to go. So again, you can see the full leaderboard here, top 3 for each of the categories for the AL and for the NL. Right now, the game is just doing its draft, and now it will resume. Let's check how these boards change. So Babe Ruth is second in batting average, third in home runs. Joey Gallo still leading the AL in home runs. Way to go, Joey. If you're watching him this year, he's cranking those home runs out. Cedric Mullins leads the league with stolen bases. And the top hitting streak goes to Christian Arroyo with Boston with a 23-game hitting streak. So 79 of Ricky's 279. Actually, it was 81, wasn't it? 81 leadoff home runs for Ricky. Wow. Okay, Babe. Here we are. We are now at August 1st. Babe Ruth is hitting 331. So his average has come down a little bit. Home runs, he's at 37. 85 RBIs. 117 hits. He's way over 1 hit per game. Let's take a look at his batting log here. Anything remarkable? He has not had a 3 home run game yet, but he has had a few 2 home run games, including one recently against the Yankees. At home against New York, he hit a couple dingers. Hits-wise, he had a 4-hit game against Cincinnati in a 9-8 win. 4 hits. He went 4 for 4 in Milwaukee. So he's had a couple 4-hit games and a few 2 home run games. Let's see what he's projected for home runs. He is projected to hit 57. So that's come down a little bit. So his 60 home run record for himself is still on pace. His personality, I always find this comical. Babe puts in extra time at the gym and rarely gets outsmarted. His teammates have great respect for Ruth. I want to see evidence. Show me pictures, show me video of Babe Ruth at the gym. Unless it's Jim's Pub next to the Pickle Pub, I don't think Babe Ruth spent much extra time at the gym. But hey, I could be wrong. Baltimore at the August 1st mark, they are just about the 500 mark. Wild card wise, they're falling back a little bit, 6.5 games. Come on, Babe. This is your home team. You got to take them to the playoffs. Let's sim up to the beginning of September. All right, some Babe Ruth facts for you. Again, we are playing Babe Ruth in his 1927 career. That's the import. This is the year that Babe Ruth is playing in the game right now. Go away, ad. There we go. So that's the Babe that we should see. And Mr. Ree, if you're still in the chat, of course, we got the Babe Ruth statue. But did you know there was a Babe Ruth museum? Of course, Mr. Ree, you must know. Of course, you've probably been there. But maybe enlighten the chat a little bit, or anyone that's been to the Babe Ruth Museum, which is on 216 Emory Street in Baltimore. What's it like? I mean, obviously, they probably have some of his, equipment and uniforms and, things like that. We look at the gallery. Got some images of Babe. There we go. Oh, so you've never been there yet. Okay. I think there's some significance to this actual building, right? His birthplace. Yeah. So this is where Babe was born. I mean, just to say you've been there would be pretty cool. If you're ever in Baltimore, go check out the Babe Ruth Museum. There you go. $13 to get in. Unless you're senior or military, then you get a discount of $11. Kids get in for $7. They probably don't show a lot of the exhibits because they want you to go visit. But let's see if I click on exhibits. Yeah, just small little thumbnails. Uniform. You get to go see the upstairs bedroom, his bat, a lot of pictures. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. If you're in Baltimore, go check out the Babe Ruth Museum. All right, let's get back. We are now at the beginning of September. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will have a separate draw, so all of you will be eligible for the 10-pack draw at the end of today's stream. And in about a half an hour's time, we are going to raid into Tesuiji. So hang in there. We'll have a couple winners here. We'll have the Babe winner, and then we will have the random winner in about 30 minutes. All right. September 1st, 1 month to go before the playoffs. The Baltimore Orioles, I think, are done. I think we can officially call it a season where they will not make the playoffs. They are 8.5 games out of the wild card. But let's take a quick peek at who we're likely to see in the playoffs. The Yankees, Twins, and Astros, all with division leads. Texas 1 game back. Braves, Cardinals, and Dodgers. This is getting kind of boring, all the same teams with the division lead. But hey, they're pretty good at baseball. Padres are tied with the Dodgers. Win percentage-wise, they're just a little bit behind. And wild card, Mets, Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Brewers, Diamondbacks, and Cubs. We've got about 6 teams in contention in the NL. In the AL, Rangers, Guardians, pretty much locked up a wild card. Rays look like they're sitting pretty as the Red Sox are 6 games back. Looking at Babe himself at the beginning of September, he is hitting .315, so the average has come down a little bit. .315, 41 home runs, so he's fallen off. He's getting tired in Baltimore. He's on pace for 50. He does have 97 RBIs, 141 hits, and 97 runs. Let's check out his game log. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Yeah, he's definitely not hitting as well as he did previously. In terms of leadership on the combined leaderboard, Babe still leading all these big categories. He's got a 1.5 WAR lead over George Springer. And still leading these 3 bottom ones. Very curious if he will get the MVP award in the AL. Fourth in home runs. He's behind Alonso, Gallo, and Alvarez. He's not in the top 5 in RBIs. And with hits, he is not in the top 5. All right, let's sim to the end of the regular season. And one more look back on the main screen. Some more Babe information here. So he's playing in Baltimore. Baltimore, again, is his home. That's where Babe Ruth was born. For those of you that don't know much about Babe Ruth, he started off as a catcher. I don't know how well you can see this picture. Let's see if I can zoom in. There's Babe Ruth there as a catcher. He's got the mask there. He's got the glove. I'm surprised they had catcher's masks back in 1914. So here's his 1914 St. Mary's Industrial School photo. Before he obviously played in the International League or the major leagues. There he is, started as a catcher. So a quick little story about Babe Ruth. So he began his professional baseball career in 1914 as a member of the Orioles, which was a minor league team in the International League. So this sports writer witnessed firsthand Ruth's 19 weeks. He played for 19 weeks with the Orioles. He saw his first home run that he hit in Lafayette, North Carolina. And he saw him pitch his first game, and a little bit about his nickname of the Babe. So let's scroll down a little bit. So Dunn, so this Dunn guy, Jack Dunn. So Linthicum was at St. Mary's Industrial School in 1914 when 19-year-old Ruth was summoned to the school's reception room to meet Jack Dunn, who was the owner and manager of the Orioles. A number of Ruth's school teammates and small kids from St. Mary's who idolized him accompanied Babe to the office. Dunn, who had never seen Ruth play but heard plenty about him, offered him a contract. So there you go. So Babe Ruth accepted Dunn's contract without the slightest hesitation, and Babe Ruth was part of the Baltimore Orioles. When Ruth and the Orioles arrived in Fayetteville, North Carolina for spring training, Ruth made an immediate impression with the first inter-squad game. The youngster landed on a fastball and circled the bases before Billy Morissette had retrieved the deep hit to right field. As Linthicum trailed Ruth and Dunn while heading back to the hotel following the game, the writer heard Dunn say, "This baby will never get away from me." And according to Linthicum, then and there, Ruth acquired the nickname Babe. So if you're wondering where Babe came from, it came from those very early days with the Baltimore Orioles. Babe Ruth would pitch his very first game as the Orioles were trailing the Phillies 6-0. So Babe Ruth would come in the 6th inning in his first pitching appearance, and he would strike out Dode Paskert, who we know from OOTP. He would hold the Phillies scoreless, and his team would come back and win the game 7-6. Way to go, Babe. And a little bit about why he left Baltimore. Let's go down here. Talks about his pitching career. I'll post that article in the chat here in case you want to read up a little bit more about Babe Ruth's early days. All right, so finances. Finances became a problem. With the season now at its halfway point, the Orioles were in first place and appeared to be heading for the pennant, but Dunn was losing money. Fans were flocking to see the Baltimore Federals, which was the new major league team, and Dunn entertained the thought of moving his franchise to Richmond, Virginia. But that idea was nixed, leaving him with no choice but to break up his team. So the first place Orioles broke up the team. He knew there'd be interest in Ruth, so he offered him to his friend Connie Mack, who is owner and manager of the Athletics. But Mack was suffering the financial constraints as well and the competition of the Federal League. Attendance was down. His players were demanding new contracts. So Connie Mack said, Jack, you have a great young pitcher in Ruth, but I can't give you what he's worth. So White Sox ivory hunter George Mills, who spent time scouting Ruth, made a recommendation to his boss, Charlie Comiskey, to pay $60,000 for Ruth. Dunn was thrilled with this offer, but no action was ever taken. So Ruth could have went to the Phillies, where he was offered. He could have went to the White Sox. But ultimately, Boston Red Sox scout Patsy Donovan came to town and stayed a while to get a good look at Ruth. He reported back to the Red Sox owner Lannon and recommended that they pick this player up. So on July 6th, while the Red Sox were playing in Washington, Dunn traveled to Washington to meet with Lannon. 3 days later, they finalized the deal, and Ruth and two other Orioles were sold to the Red Sox for $25,000. And that's how Babe Ruth became a Red Sox. 19 weeks in Baltimore, offered to the Phillies, offered to the White Sox, sold for $25,000. And he says, if I had made the deal back in 1913, I would have made twice the amount, said a disappointed Dunn. So there you have it. Little bit of Babe Ruth history and his short career with the Baltimore Orioles. But hey, let's check out how he's doing. Let's check out. We are now at the end of the regular season. We've got to sim one more day, I believe. The game always takes you, when you sim to the regular season, it takes you to that last day. And Mr. Ruth. Mr. Ruth. Well, before we look at Babe, let's look at the playoffs. Did the Orioles squeak in? Guardians, Rangers, Rays, Yankees. Remember, this is the 2023 environment. So the rosters are as of this year. Padres, Mets, Brewers, Cardinals, Braves, Dodgers, Astros, Twins, they get the byes. But how did Babe do? Babe Ruth. He's got the little fire symbol again. Babe ended up hitting .320 on the season, 44 home runs, 105 RBIs, 153 hits, and 104 runs. So let me do the math. 153, 44, and 105. So someone can verify for me if they've got their calculator, their abacus nearby. I think that equals 406. Someone confirm that for me. 104 plus 153 plus 44 plus 105. So those will be his totals. We'll check on the results in just a little bit, but that should be 406. Let's check out the final leaderboard. And Babe Ruth will finish not in the top 5 in home runs or RBIs. He will finish 4th with the 4th best batting average. And of course, he will lead on base percentage, slugging percentage, on base plus slugging, and batter WAR with 7.9. And again, the bottom categories, OPS plus, win probability added, and weighted OBA. He will lead those 3 categories. But yeah, his home run production fell off the pace pretty big, finishing only with 44. All right. Wow. We are going to sim the playoffs. I want to see if Babe Ruth will win any awards here. So let's go and sim these before we look at our totals. I am calling for the Twins over the Dodgers. Well, thank you for that, My Mice Forever. Babe hired a personal trainer in 1930 that saved his career. And it was in a New York City gym, believe it or not. Well, good on him to get back in shape and save his career in the 1930s. Yeah, so many of them look so happy to be there in that picture. Yeah, they didn't smile a lot in the pictures back then. No chance for MVP. Yeah, last week with Atlanta, he finished third in voting for the NL. Let's see where he finishes this year. The Padres are your World Series winners. They take out the Rangers 4-0. Congratulations to the Padres on their first ever World Series win. So 406, we do have the total here. We're just waiting for the game to finish up the sim here, and then we will go and look at who our winner is. 44, 105, 153, and 104. Here are your final playoff standings. Dodgers got knocked out pretty early this year. Padres 4-0 over the Rangers. All right, so before I lose this information with Babe, I'm just going to take a quick screenshot here. In case something wonky happens. Like to record all his stats for all his different teams. And now let's sim to the awards. Let's see, most valuable player. Again, hang in there, guys. Thank you for being here. In about 15 minutes, we're going to head over and raid Tetsuiji and watch him play his franchise series. And we are going to make a draw for 10 standard packs in just a few minutes as well. But we are just awaiting on some awards. We're going to check out Babe Ruth's year, his accomplishments, and then we'll take a look for our winner. Cubs fan. Are you serious? Did this just happen like today? Or is this over the course of the last few days? Because that is amazing. You pulled a Mike Napoli, arguably still the best catcher in the game, and you pulled the number 8 out of 25, Delahanty. Everyone, give it up for Cubs fan Steve. Cubs fan Steve, there you go. You get some streamer luck there today. Synchronicity. My longest subscriber, and he pulls 2 of the best cards in the game. Delahanty. Are you selling them or are you going to use them? That is the question. Because you probably have a 500, 600, 700,000 perfect point card there, Steve. You got a big decision. Congratulations. If you do keep him, definitely keep us updated on his stats. That is a good card. The Grover Cleveland, Delahanty, and the last one, Huey Jennings, I think are the top 3 LE cards so far. Cleveland, Delahanty, Jennings. So congratulations. Yeah, try him out first. Enjoy him while you can. Wow. You must have been excited when you saw that. Big, big high five for Cubs fan Steve. It's not streamer luck. It's streamer follower and subscriber luck. Good stuff. All right, let's check out the awards here. One more day for awards. And Here we go. MLB, League History, Index, Awards. We'll start with the NL. In the National League for the 2023 season, Pete Alonso wins the MVP award with 52 home runs. Brandon Woodruff will win the Cy Young Award. And Corbin Carroll, Rookie of the Year for the Diamondbacks. David Robertson takes home with 49 saves. Oh, so close, David. So close. 49 saves, takes home the Reliever of the Year award in the National League. In the American League, all right, moment of truth. Babe Ruth, no. Yordan Alvarez from the Astros will take home the Player of the Year award with 58 home runs. Well-deserved. Garrett Cole, Cy Young Award. Gunnar Henderson. So Babe Ruth, one of his teammates, gets Rookie of the Year. And Mr. Clase, his second Reliever of the Year award. So no hardware for Babe Ruth, but we do have to look at his profile. And let's check out his history. All right, in 2023, he won the Batter of the Month award in April, Player of the Week award in mid-June, selected to the AllStar Game but didn't play. He signed a 5-year contract extension worth $147 million. Well, there's that. $147 million over 5 years to stay in his hometown. He would hit his 400th career home run. He was out 3 to 4 weeks. Oh, that's why his numbers were down. Yep, the injury bug hit Babe for the first time in this series. He was out 3 to 4 weeks with an injury. And he was third again in Most Valuable Player award. So second week in a row that the Babe was third. Would have been at least probably second, maybe even first, if he didn't suffer that injury. Farewell. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for feeding my cats and supporting my coffee love. And it is a great day for baseball. Babe Ruth with the Baltimore Orioles hits 44 home runs. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Help someone out. Donate where you can. Give where you can. Take only if you need. It is Tuesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Again, don't go anywhere. OOTP views over there on his channel. And yeah, I will be back on Thursday with kidneys and the Hawk Report. And boy, oh boy, are we going to have a lot to talk about on Thursday, including the new Diamond Build a Lineup cards and any other missions or cards that come out between now and Thursday. Congratulations once again, Steve, on pulling Napoli, pulling Delahanty. Wow. 2 really awesome cards, probably 2 of the best 20 cards in the game. And this has been Babe in the Matrix, episode number 96. Thank you for today's followers. Thank you for the subscribers. But it is almost time to give away 10 packs. Guys, we are raiding over to Tesuiji. Please don't go anywhere. Stick around. Check out his stream for a while. And we will see you on Thursday. Laptop Pound signing out of the studio. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next episode.